If you're new to worship drumming and you don't know what to play or how to practice a song for your church, then this video is for you. If you're new to the channel, my name's Aaron and I've been playing drums at local churches for over 15 years. And today I want to break down the process and the steps on how I learn new songs, what to practice, and how to apply it at my church on Sunday. Today we're going to be looking at Hillsong Worship and a song that they released, and we are going to dissect the song and figure out how we can play it and apply it at our church. Let's jump into it. Okay, so starting right out on the drums. Okay, so as I listen to this, that intro is the same drum beat the whole time. There's not a whole lot going on, not like any extra like crazy cymbals or flares or fills or anything. It's just pretty straightforward, simple, steady, and then it goes into that verse. Let's see what the drums do next. Okay, so from the sounds of things, we're into that first chorus, and the drums stayed the same through the intro and then the verse. I believe that's like a verse 1B. I'd have to actually pull it up to see what it is, but the drums stayed the same, and then everything dropped out in that first chorus. Let's see what it does through the remainder of the chorus, and if they go back and do another verse. Okay, so the drums cut out for that first chorus, and they built back into like an interlude that goes into that second verse. Structural wise, the beat was the exact same. I do believe there's a little bit more dynamics in that second verse. They hit on their hi-hat a little bit harder from the sounds of things, maybe open it up and do a little bit more of like a wash, and then it goes right into that second chorus full band. And my guess is going to be the very similar beat. It's just going to be over on the ride. That's typically how worship music is. Let's give it a listen. Now, towards the end of that second chorus, I heard a guitar starting to squeal in, which usually means it's a bigger instrumental, so we're just going to keep on driving, and I'm assuming they're either going to go into a third verse or a bridge. Let's check it out and see what they do. is actually a really cool concept to play. I'm super excited that they're doing this, and I want to break it down really quick. So structurally thinking with a worship song, you have verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, instrumental, bridge, or verse 3 back into a final chorus. That's pretty much how every worship song is. There tends to be a very common repeated pattern going into bridges. It's usually the first half of the bridge you cut out and you're quiet, and then the second half you start to build into a final chorus. There is also some bridges where you're hot and heavy on the drums the whole time. In this song, that is the case. You go from a full band chorus into an instrumental into that bridge full band. But the one dynamic change that most people won't catch is instead of riding over on your ride cymbal during that bridge, the drummer is actually going to his hi-hats, opening them up, still playing the same pattern, but he's just giving a little bit more texture into that groove for when they go into that final chorus and he goes to that ride, is going to elevate the dynamics that much more and drive the song home. Let's give it a quick listen again and see where they go from that. Okay, so from the sounds of things, they kept that hi-hat groove going through both of those bridges, and then they dropped it back down. From a worship drummer's perspective, this is super exciting because when you come down after a really heavy full band bridge, that creates tension, so they're going to go back into a full chorus once or twice, I would guess. One thing I want to touch on is when the band came down, the drummer resorted back to that first hi-hat beat that they played in the intro of the song, but it sounds like he was playing it over on the rim of a drum or maybe just a really tightly closed hi-hat just to create a little bit less friction going through that part. Let's finish this out and then we'll go back and try to learn that intro pattern that plays the whole song. So after that quiet little interlude, after your big bridges, they went back into a chorus quiet, and then from the sounds of things, they built into a final chorus full band, and they're playing the same groove that they've been playing the whole song. Let's listen to how they end it. Okay, so that sounds like it's the whole song. What I want to do now is go back and learn that beginning intro. But first, before we do that, let's step back and think of the whole structure, try to lay it all out, and figure out what they're doing. So a simple trick that I like to do when I'm learning new songs is to at least look at the song. You can either go to like a services app, Ultimate Guitar, or you can get on Google, type in like A to Z lyrics, and they'll actually show you the whole song start to finish. This song sounds pretty straightforward. You have a verse 1 into a chorus, verse 2, chorus 2, and then it goes and does a bridge twice into an interlude, back into a quiet chorus, and then drive it home for a last and final chorus, and then they end the song. With all that being said, let's learn this pattern. So what I like to do is I like to go back, start the song over, put my headphones in, listen to it, and try to play along until I figure out what that pattern is. Okay, so that seems to be the pattern on your right hand and your left hand with your hi-hat and your snare. Let's figure out what that kick's doing. Now that we have the kick pattern down, let's put it all together and let's try to play through up until that first chorus. Okay, we're gonna let that first chorus kind of ring out nice and soft. I might do some dynamic stuff on the cymbals, and then we're going to build back into that second verse and play the same pattern all over again. Okay, so that pattern is the same through that second verse. Let's jump to the second chorus, figure out what they're doing there, and then we'll move on forward. Okay, that pattern is the same through that second chorus into that instrumental. Let's break down what the bridge is doing, which I believe is the same pattern just over on the open hi-hat, and then we're going to go to that interlude in between that last chorus. Okay, so that's the structure of that bridge. Let's see what this interlude is doing, and then I think we're just going to run back and play the whole song start to finish. That pattern that they were playing in the interlude is the same pattern that has been throughout the whole entire song. The only difference is you are playing your right hand over on a rim of your rack tom. Let's run back and play the whole song start to finish, and it should sound something like this. So this is the whole process, start to finish, on how I learn songs at my church to play on Sunday. This example is a fairly straightforward example. There are some songs where I will actually have to write out the certain parts because it's so hard to keep track and to remember them until I play it over and over and over again. Which is kind of a segue into my next point, and that is the easiest way I've been able to find out to learn a new song is to just listen to it as many times as you can throughout the week when you're going to school, at work, in the gym, whatever you're doing. Pop some headphones in, listen to that song pretty much on repeat, and then you'll be able to kind of feel the natural changes and the dynamic shifts that you should be playing when you take it to the kit. I do this same process when I'm trying to learn specific parts in other songs, or I'm trying to learn new drum fills. And if you want to know certain fills to play, click over here and learn it in that video, and I'll catch you over there.